What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Let's Play Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without a dope video to step to. The song reference doesn't quite work when talking about this game. Anyway, last time, we as CJ Johnson, that is kind of redundant when I think the J in CJ stands for Johnson, so that would be Carl Johnson Johnson. But yeah, anyway, we returned to San Andreas as him because our mother died. And we've returned to see that everything is in disarray. Crooked cops everywhere, the rise of gang members, and it's just all kinds of messed up. So, yeah, we're just trying to get accustomed to life in, well, our new life here in San Andreas and find out what happened to our mom. And if you're wondering why the video looks different, or well, the game looks vastly different, I'll get into that shortly. But first, for this video, we're going to be focusing on nothing but tags, because you all said you wanted 100% of this game, and alright, I'll do it. I've never beaten the game 100%, so what better time than now? Honestly, it's not that hard to 100% any Grand Theft Auto game, really. Like, the collectathon stuff tends to be the hardest portion of it, but San Andreas does have a couple tricky side things to do to get 100%, but we'll get to those when we get to them. I am so not looking forward to them. It's gonna be rough, but hopefully I will be able to persevere. But yeah, the gang tags right here in Los Santos, it's rough. Because there's 100 of them. You gotta find them. You got 6 of them from the previous mission, so there's that. And all things considered, it's not that hard to do. I mean, the hard part is finding them. And yes, I was using a map for this. There was no way I was going to do this, like, blindly. Though I was surprised at just how many I remembered. Whatever. So, yeah, it's not hard to get all the tags. You just need to find them. And you gotta watch out for cops if they see you spraying, and rival gang members. They're all pretty easy to avoid. Though, funny enough, I was getting capped at by quite a few people in my adventures. And, yeah, it was scary, but at no point was I ever close to dying, I think. I mean, I did get hit by a few cars occasionally, but that had nothing to do with the tags. That was just Los Santos drivers being Los Santos drivers. Kind of reminds me of Detroit. Oh, boy. But yeah, the reason I'm doing all the tags in one go now is because of the benefits of doing so. Well, with me doing... Oh, okay, let's just reel that back and go over, like, the immediate benefits from collecting all the tags. By collecting all the tags, you get more respect in-game. So, you know, that just raises how your own gang members think of you, and you can create a gang of more people to follow you around and protect you and stuff. It also affects other things, like how likely rival gang members are to attack you and things of that nature, blah, blah, blah. That's just a minor bonus from collecting all the tags. The big thing about doing that is that once you collect all 100, in your kitchen will always spawn 4 weapons. Molotov cocktails, a Tech 9, I believe, which is not as good as that semi-automatic I found in the sewers behind the house. A sawed-off shotgun, which is good. And an AK-47, which is going to be my main weapon for this entire game. Ah, man, AKs and, well, just automatic rifles in general in Grand Theft Auto are always good. Very good. You don't need any other weapon, except maybe the shotguns. Though the sawed-off shotgun is way better than the regular shotgun, which I'm still shocked they give it to you this early. But I guess they try to sort of, like, have a running theme since Los Santos is sort of set up like how Compton is, with the whole Bloods and the Crips thing, you got weapons that you would see those gang members typically have. I don't know much about them. I just only know like what I hear through songs with Snoop Dogg and Ice Cube. And Today Was a Good Day, Ice Cube did say at one point that he did not have to pull out his AK. So, I guess Bloods and Crips had AKs. I'm just using the context clues here, people. I don't live in California. So, yeah, you have those weapons that always spawn in your kitchen once you get all 100 tags. It is very worthwhile, especially in the early game, so you don't have to worry about finding weapons. And it's also good for if you get killed or arrested by the cops, since you always lose your weapons anyway when those two things happen. So, hey, you have a dedicated stash of weapons that you can always get whenever. So, yeah, like every time you go to save, you can just stock up on your weapons and you'll be fine. So, that's the immediate benefit. The secondary benefit is, well, it's only gained by how I chose to get all these tags. I opted to ride a bike to each tag location up until the end, where I just got tired of that shit and just pulled a car and was just doing that. But yeah, the reason I was using the bike was to raise my cycling skill to the max, raise up my stamina, and in turn raise up my max health. And by raising up your bike skills, that means you're less likely to fall off a bike. You can bunny hop higher. You can get like a higher speed, etc., etc. That's going to be good for some side missions that we have coming up. Stamina is always good in general. You'll more than likely raise up your stamina through normal play as well, like if you're just running around and whatnot. And I mean, that's just self-explanatory. That means you can run longer distances without getting tired, swim longer distances, etc., etc. And by raising your stamina over time, you can raise your max health over time. So that's good. You'll max out your health, through normal play, you can get a max health of 150. Doing a set of side missions later on can then allow you to go past that max to get to 200. More on that when we get to that particular side mission. So, yeah, that's pretty much all to say about that. I don't know, I'm yeah, there's nothing else to say. That's why I opted to use the bike to get to all these locations. End of story. Oh, and you also might know, it's going to depend on how much I choose to keep in this video and how much I edit out. Yeah, I'm doing post commentary here. But yeah, there were times when I was getting tired. Or not tired, but just hungry. And they mentioned it in the previous part, but just in case you need a refresher, when you get hungry, you need to go eat, because if you don't, you'll die. When you're starving in game, your fat meter will start decreasing first before your health starts decreasing. So yeah, that's why I always opt to get like the fattiest meal possible whenever I go get something to eat in the game. Just to have a nice little fat buffer. Because there might be times where you're nowhere near a food place, and that fat buffer can really help you out before it starts eating away your health. So, yeah, minor thing out the way. Let's go on to the next order of business that I alluded to in the beginning of this video. And that's why the game looks really different. Well, that's because I had to downgrade the game to what is essentially the original retail release for PC. Yeah. I was under the assumption that Rockstar was more competent when it came to PC ports than, say, Bethesda and Square Enix. But I guess I'm thinking of modern day Rockstar, because back in the day, they gave no shits. Like, okay, unlike Fallout 3 by Bethesda, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas can be played on Windows 7 and Windows 10 computers. And Windows 8, but come on now, we don't include them. But, yeah, it is playable, but it is also very buggy. I witnessed that firsthand when I tried to start it up to record the tags, and the game kept crashing on me before anything could even load in. That's bad. And then the one time it did load up, I paused the game, everything went black, and I did not have control of my computer anymore, so I had to hard shut it down. Yeah, it's pretty bad, Rockstar. That is pretty bad, and there are like many things you can do in the settings to make it work, but it just seemed way too much of a hassle, despite the fact that I ended up downgrading the freaking game, but whatever. But yeah, apparently there was also some really bad glitches in there too that could prevent you from getting 100%, which would defeat the purpose of this LP. So yeah, that had to be addressed. So to give you more of a backstory on the releases of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, it was originally released for the PS2, and that would be considered the day one launch edition, so or just 1.0. And then later on, sometime down the road, modders found out about the whole removed sex mini game, and then when the ESRB caught on to that, they rated the game AO, and it got removed from shelves and whatnot, and Rockstar had to do something about that. So they patched that out and fixed some of the more egregious glitches and added in some features that weren't able to be fully recognized in the initial release because of crunch time. And so you had the 2.0 release for PS2. And honestly, if you look at both games side by side, they kind of do look, well, I wouldn't say vastly different, but the differences are noticeable. Because seriously, like I said, like a lot of the really bad glitches from the initial release were rectified, and like one feature in particular was the fact that you could get cars dirty over time, and then if it were to rain or you go to a car wash or a pay and spray, to like you would see that your car would get clean. So that's a nice little touch. Like, it's barely noticeable, but when you finally, or rather, like, you're not really conscious of it, but then when you notice it, it's like it's just like right there front and center. Like, you just start seeing it everywhere, and it's pretty neat. And yeah, I'm lucky enough to have both the original release, like my original copy broke, but then when my brother was getting rid of his PS2, he still had his day one launch copy of San Andreas, and he let me have it. And you know, when my copy broke, I had to buy a new copy, and it was the 2.0. So yeah, and save files from the 1.0 game aren't compatible with the 2.0 game. Yeah, it's just something you had to deal with. So yeah, sometime later it had a PC release, retail, because back in my day we didn't have no Steam. And yeah, it was the exact same as the 2.0 release, with more like things added to make it, you know, more suitable for the PC folk, including widescreen. Hell yeah. And then later on, the game came to Steam, and it was like hard to explain, like just some bastardized copy. Like, I'm only going based on what I saw in a few videos, and I am paraphrasing. I'll have the sources to the videos down below, or links to the videos down below. But from what I could gather, the Steam release was some weird amalgamation of the launch day release for PS2 and the PC retail release. Or not PS2 retail, PC retail release, where it was missing a lot of the 2.0 improvements and had to remove some songs because of licensing issues. And like even had some stuff broken that wasn't even broken in the retail release. And a lot of these weren't addressed over time in patches, so it was up to the community at large to fix it. And one of the patches well, not one of the patches, but one of the things I had to do to make my copy of the game working again without having to do any major, like, back end, like, switching around some things, manipulating DirectX and all these setup files and stuff, was to downgrade the game. And then I modded it to sort of be like the 2.0 PS2 game and the original retail version. And also, by downgrading the game, it even restores some of the, well, not some of, but all of the missing songs, which is nice. Unfortunately, you won't be hearing any of them because copyright. But man, it's so good to see those songs back. And I was jamming to some of them as I was playing through in this, like, trying to collect all the tags thing. But it's a travesty that they removed the big payback in the first place. That is an amazing James Brown song. All of his songs are good, though. But, yeah, so I downgraded the game, then modded a few things, and, yeah, none of the mods I did, or installed, rather, affect gameplay. They're just there to make things look nice, and actually have true widescreen. I knew something was up when I first played this, or, yeah, played it for the first video, because I could have sworn I had selected widescreen in the options and everything still came out full screen, but I wasn't really making it or thinking too much of it because, the original game was standard def anyway. Who cares? But yeah, it's kind of messed up that the Steam version breaks widescreen, and even if you do force it into widescreen, the aspect ratio isn't locked. So everybody looks fatter than what they should look like, which is a damn shame. So, yeah, all in all, I'm now playing a modded version of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas that is more in line with the 2.0 release for PS2. Yay! With some original retail improvements. Yay! And also some other things that the community at large felt would be nice to add. Also, yay. So, yeah, there's really nothing much else for me to say here. Enjoy my journey to get all 100 tags in Los Santos. And then I'll show off the kitchen as it looks when all of the weapons start showing up. And, yeah, next time we'll get back to more action in-game. I need to figure out how I'm going to space things out. I mean, I could do, like, you know, parts that are just all story missions and then parts that are nothing but the side stuff. Or maybe, like, 2 or 3 missions and then end the video with the side thing. We'll see. Because not a lot of the side missions are even that long. I mean, the only things that are going to run long are the taxi. Actually, just taxi. Firefighting and ambulance. Well, no, ambulance was kind of rough in San Andreas. I will get that. But firefighting was alright. The vigilante missions were easier too, all things considered, compared to other Grand Theft Autos. But I think it was San Andreas? I don't know. I've played all of the Grand Theft Autos and I've done like 100% in like almost all of them, so things are sort of melding together in my mind. I'll be more certain of it later on when I actually start doing them. But yeah, like I remember in Vice City and Grand Theft Auto 3, to master the taxi missions, you had to do 100 fares, which is rough. I can't remember if it was shortened to 50 for San Andreas or the PSP games first. I know once it went to 50 in one of them, that became the new standard because they were like, yeah, ain't nobody got time for 100. Yeah, that's probably going to be the second longest side thing now that we're done with the tags. And then also, this was the first Grand Theft Auto where unique jumps weren't required for 100%. Unique jumps are just stunt jumps. That's all. When you hit these special ramps in the game, the camera gets all cinematic and you zoom out and everything gets all slow-mo. And then if you land the jump perfectly, you get money. These were required for 100% in Grand Theft Auto 3 and Vice City. Not so much in San Andreas. I don't think the rampages are required either. I need to look into that, actually. I got a freaking 100% checklist. I should just be consulting that right now, but I just wanted to get this post-com done and out the way. Oh, and I know I'm kind of already off the topic of the whole, like, version mod changes and stuff, but I am noticing, like, one thing that's been going on with this video, just some weird frame shenanigans that happen occasionally, because, like, for some reason the downgrade puts the game into 30 frames per second, which should not be happening considering the original game is capped at like 25 frames per second. I don't know. There's probably some settings I'm like neglecting to check in the options there, so I will look into that so the video next time can be a little more smoother. But it's not all that bad, all things considered. So yeah, enough rambling from me. Enjoy the rest of these here tags, and I will see you next time when we get back to the story stuff. Goodbye. Well, preemptive goodbye. There's going to be at least like 20 more minutes left in this video, if that. So yeah, goodbye for now. Woo!
What are you doing?
I love chopped crust Sonoma.
Yes, incredible. There. Now you got the cooties, jackass. Suck ass. You hit like a girl, nigga. You go suck my motherfucking dick, man. in here.
I got some good moonshine.
Man, move.
Girls and guys. So,
Can't you see I'm busy being high? ¿Qué pues? Mi barrio, Come on, man.
I'm going to be late. Now when I slap you, don't.
Man, I will fight anybody anytime.
What is your problem?
How you get so fast, huh?
I sure am craving for Mr. Wilson.
Pass it, Holmes.
What the shit?
Get that raggedy piece of shit off the motherfucking way.
Hey, ufa. You know I'm the bottom bitch in the stable, right?
¿Qué pasó, este?
I need to get me some pussy.
Yo, what's happening? Sir.
Hey.
You gonna have to walk now, sucker.
Fellas, what's going on? Rusty Brown tastes like dolphin.
Yeah, that's bad news, bro.
Ever tried something in your tank?
Yeah.
Keep it real.
Take it easy, bro. What's up?
Hey, good buddy.
Noodle exchange sucks.
Officer, I need a
Santos is a
backup.
baller's
Let's see what you
town.
got, buddy. I'm gonna take this guy down.
Such an intellectual game.
Hey, man, wait up!